Hello, everyone. Welcome to the pre-party for my turn on the Artist Back Alley Raid Train for the month of April. Happy Easter to those that celebrate. Happy Sunday. Hopefully you're enjoying your weekend. I'm going to be developing some film on today's stream. I'll be developing film at 1 o'clock this afternoon when the raid train proper gets here. So I'm finishing setting up for today's film developing. This will be the second time I've developed film on stream. This is also my second time making my presence known on the Artist Back Alley Raid Train. Good afternoon, Icarus and Schlifty. Welcome. So, in the land of the Artist Back Alley, I might be the only photographer in it, but that's all right. I'm going to be bringing to you some of what I do. So yeah, you get to see my kitchen this time, Winged, although I have been in here once before. 2 months ago when I did my first film developing stream. This is where I shot it, because normally I do this in my bathroom, but I can't really lug my PC and my entire streaming setup into my bathroom, so you're getting a live look into the kitchen. So, music is a smidge loud. Thank you! Let me adjust that. Is that better? That's also why we do some prep time, to make sure that everything is all nice and hunky-dory. Beautiful. So I'm in the middle of setting up. I haven't started developing yet. So I'm just setting up the last of the chemicals. All my accoutrements that I will need for the film are behind me. So when the raid train comes, I will show you how I put this roll of film into that developing tank. Because I have to do that all by touch. So let me just... 20 more minutes till everyone else gets here. So let me just get my chemicals set up. My developer. Actually, I'm gonna need... Thank you for the host, Schlifty. Just gonna go off to here to get some of this prime, delicious filtered water that I'm going to need for the developer. Yes, that's good developing. So that developing tank behind me, this thing, takes 20 ounces of fluid, so... For developer, I mix it up with 10 ounces water, 10 ounces developer, so that we get a 1-to-1 solution here. By doing 1-to-1, it promotes more even developing. You can develop just using straight developer if you are really in a hurry. But you can. I mean, a lot of film photographers do that. I don't, because you run the risk of uneven developing. Just setting up here, so again, we have not started any developing yet. I'm just setting up my chemicals, making sure those are getting nice and up to temperature. Because temperature is very important, as that will determine how long the developing process takes. Next is Stop Bath, which is in this jug. No, it is not a growler. There is no alcohol contained in here. It is specific glass for photochemistry. So developer is very clear, very translucent, very clear. Stop bath looks like someone who is really dehydrated. And the last is the fixer, and I will explain what all of these chemicals do when we start developing properly. Right now I'm just getting everything set up and ready to go, making sure that everything is up to temperature when we begin. Because I'm only going to be here for an hour. And to develop a single roll of film takes about 30 to 35 minutes. And I mean, that's from the second I pour the developer solution into the tank. So I would also, as an early bit of warning, in about 15 minutes or so, if you need to take a pee break, do so, because there's going to be a lot of running water. Just keep that in mind. Speaking of, so what I'm doing now is I'm checking the temperature of each chemical to make sure that it is 68 degrees Fahrenheit. For those of you who do not use American Freedom units, that's 20 degrees Celsius. That is the ideal temperature to develop film at. You can develop film at higher or lower temperatures. If your chemistry is at a higher temperature, the developing time has to be reduced. If it's colder than 68, then your developing time has to be longer to compensate. But right now it looks like all of my chemistry is sitting at around 54, which I kind of expected because I do keep my apartment pretty chilly, between 64 and 64 and 66 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'm probably going to need to warm these up a bit, which I'll do. Which I will do in the quickest way I know how. My handy-dandy, non-pollutionary hair dryer. The only reason why I own a hair dryer is for heating up film chemistry. I don't use it on my hair. So I see my camera is having a little bit of trouble with my red shirt, throwing all the colors out of whack and everything. Let me see if turning this light off will do. Oh yeah, that helps quite a bit, actually. Alright. I'll have to turn it back on shortly, but I'm going to just quickly change anyway before the rest of the gang gets here. So I will be very, very quickly right back. There we go. Much better. Much better. Probably a good idea to just use an old t-shirt when I'm playing with chemicals anyway. So, alright. Yeah, 64 degrees Fahrenheit on my chemistry, so we're going to warm this up a bit. Hopefully this isn't too loud. I'm going to have the hair dryer out, so gonna mute myself. Okay. Oh, I guess that doesn't work on Streamlabs. Alright. Hello, Akin Girl. Welcome, welcome, welcome. The sound you hear in the background is my hair dryer as I'm warming up my film chemicals. But so far so good. I'm setting up, getting ready to develop some film. Getting this done and out of the way now before the raid train shows up. Because to develop a roll of film takes between 30 and 35 minutes. So the quicker I can get the prep out of the way, the sooner we'll get going. Hello, hello, Lemon Bro. Welcome, welcome. How you doing? I came prepared, good Sir Live Deaths. Except I just dumped water onto my glasses. That was talent. It's alright. I'll fix that shortly. So far, so good. Hopefully you are enjoying your Easter. Alright, we're starting to move up in temperature. So what I'm doing, if you're just joining, is I'm trying to get my film chemicals up to 68 degrees Fahrenheit, 20 degrees Celsius if you don't use American Freedom units, because that is the temperature at which, that's the ideal temperature to develop film chemicals with. That sound you hear in the background is my hair dryer. My apologies. We're getting there. Freedom units, yes. Thank you for your contribution to the board game night challenge, Lemon Bro. We get to 50,000 before the month is out. I will be doing a board game night. You are pretty much there. Yep. All right. Yep. We're there. Just pull up my developing time chart here. Okay. All right, we're moving right along here. Thank you for the contributions to the board game night challenge. So my chemical's already warmed up, and the raid train is going to get here in about 8 minutes or so. At which point, I have pretty much wrapped up my prep. So how are you all doing this fine Easter Sunday? Hopefully you're all doing very, very well indeed. Oh, we have a community challenge. I did not know there was, oh yeah, that's my board game. I thought it was a hype train. I'm like, you can see how blind I am without my glasses. Wow, we're already a quarter of the way to the board game night. Beautiful. I see that AKN posted, but right now it's just a bunch of white blur. Ah, sight. I'm laying in bed, taking it easy this morning. Yeah, it's... Are you on Pacific time, where you are? Or are you beyond that? Because I can only imagine, so if it's 3 hours, it's 9:53. Alaskan time. Okay, so it's 8:53. Yeah, you know, normally on weekends, I'm in bed till around 10 o'clock Eastern. Normally on weekends, I get about 10, 11 hours of sleep, and it is bliss. Absolute bliss. So yeah, I've only been awake for almost 3 hours now, actually. So yeah. So what's my developer temperature? I might have heated it up just a little bit too much, 70 degrees. That's fine. If it's 70 degrees, that means my developing time is, instead of 14 minutes, it'll be 13 minutes. That's typically about how it works. Basic rule of thumb is about 1 minute plus 1 minute more if it's a degree colder, 1 minute 1 minute less if it's a little warm. That's fine. I would have normally been streaming for I've noticed, like, whenever there's a I notice that whenever there's a raid train event, I notice that AKN, you always go for the graveyard the early morning shift, and I have to assume that you're a morning person, in which I feel like I need to apologize or show sympathy, because it's like, I'm sorry. We got a big long list of upgrades to the stream and plans for next weekend to set in motion anyway.
1, 2.
Oh, come on.
2, 3.
Ooh, what kind of upgrades though? Or are those super top secret and we have to wait until your next stream? Just listen to the music here. Hopefully you can hear that. It's we've got some Final Fantasy IV remixes going on in the background. I'm not a morning person by choice, really. It's just that... okay. What's the temperature? 69. Nice. That might cool down to 68 by the time I finish loading everything up into the developing tank. Everyone in my family are legit morning people. Like, they're up at 7 a.m. regardless, and they do shit, and I was always the odd one out in my family. My stepdad was the type of person that's like, oh, if you sleep till 9, you're half the day is over. And I'm like, all right, then let me waste half the day. Jerk. I enjoy sleep. Go to hell. Go directly to hell. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. All right. Get ready for the party to show up in just a couple of minutes. These are not toxic. These chemicals are not toxic. I'm smelling to make sure they're still good. And to make sure that they're correct, because this is developer, this is fixer. Can you tell the difference? That's why I label the measuring cups, because developer and fixer they look exactly the same. The only difference is that developer, when it's still good and it hasn't expired, has almost no smell, whereas fixer smells like vinegar. Vinegar has a very strong vinegar smell. Ooh, pop-up events. Nice. Well, we are about to get ready here. So let me just very quickly get everything set up and ready to go. Here we go! Here we go! Fancy bringing the party over to my corner of the world! Welcome on in, Raiders! Sup, nerd? Nerd! Oh, welcome in. I interrupt your train of illustrators to bring you photography. And traditional photography at that. Welcome in. Thank you for the follow. Fancy! Welcome. Thank you for the follow. Thank you for the follow, Dade. Yeah, lady, you can ignore that. Oh. Fancy, how'd the rest of your stream go? Oh, who won the, what was the winning caption? What was the winning caption, Fancy? Turn the music down a little bit more. Little Chook rigged it. Ah. And she said I was going to pay. Aha, okay. Plushy, thank you for the follow. Beautiful. Welcome on in. Welcome on in. I am E. Royvis, but I also go by Brian J. French. That's what I am known by for my professional photography. Tiny Dragon! Tiny Dragon, thank you for the gift sub to Dade. Enjoy your Honka Goose emote and the Chaos Bee. Excellent. All right. Well, we've only got a limited time here, so let's get started. So today I am developing medium format film, which is a larger type of film than your standard 35mm. This is going to be the poor soul that we are developing today. And to just give you an idea of what the different film types look like, this is what 35mm looks like. I hope most of you know what 35mm is. Otherwise, I'm going to feel very, very ancient at the ripe old age of 35. So this is 35mm, and this is medium format. This is what we're developing today. It's a much larger film compared to 35 millimeter. So, in film terms, the more negative, the greater the resolution. And these two types of film, it's the exact same type of film. So the developing that I'm about to do is going to be the same for medium format as it is for 35 millimeter, because they are both Ilford Delta 400 speed black and white film. Thank you for the resub, Lena. 2 months. Welcome. Continue to enjoy Honka Goose and the Chaos Bee. And I'm going to give a shout out to Tiny Dragon on Fire for drawing me that Honka Goose, and to Glitching Icarus for the Chaos Bee. Excellent, excellent stuff. All right. We got to move here because developing film is going to take me about 30 to 35 minutes. So let's get this roll of film here. And now comes the fun part. So I'll catch up with the chat in just a hot second. So, for those of you who are curious to know how we can do this without the use of a darkroom, we have our wonderful non-pollutionary developing tank, and it comprises of a few different parts. We've got the main tank, we've got the funnel in which we're going to put this roll of film onto, the spool, the funnel to pour the chemistry in, and the lid. So, we have to do this completely by touch. So all of this is going to go into a double-layered, light-tight film changing bag. So all of that is in there. Zip it all up. Flip it around, and then you take your inner proctologist and shove your arms through these two sleeves. The ends of the sleeves have elastic on them to form a very tight seal around your arm. All right, now I just got to figure out where everything is. There's the spool, there's the film, there's the tank, there's the funnel. Where is my... There we are. Yep. Holy shit, Icarus! You have gifted a sub. Thank you for the gift sub to Little Chook. And we've got a hype train. Holy shit. I just want you to know right now, this in the 1 year that I have been streaming, this is the very first hype train I have ever been a part of. I am. All right. So now let's get the film out of its enclosure and get it on the spool. Where's the start of the film? There it is. Wind it up here. There we go. In the spool. Winding up the film now. I'm just looking at the small camera there, and it kind of looks like I'm like trying to secretly beat off into it, which is an image. All right, we've reached the end of the film. And there's a piece of masking tape that I need to take off, because that is how it's attached to the original roll. Masking tape is off. All right, the film is on the spool. Now I need to grab the damn developing tank. There it is. Icarus again! And now we seal the developing tank. Making sure it's all the way around. Thank you for the biddies. I'm going to catch up with the chat in just a second. So the film is now in here, and all that is left from the film is the paper backing from the roll and the little piece of masking tape that adhered the film to the roll. So there we are. Now it's ready to be developed. I'm going to give you a very quick word of warning as a courtesy. There's about to be a lot of running water, so if you need to use the bathroom, I suggest you do it right now. And that's only because I love you guys. I'm going to give you that courtesy. Give myself some room here. Level 2 hype train. This is exciting. This is exciting stuff. All right. Let's move our cam over here. All right, let me first catch up in the chat to see. Let me give my thanks, all of the subs and bits. Akin Girl, thank you for the 100 biddies. Icarus with the gift sub to Estrella. Dade with the biddies. Little Itching Icarus giving a gift sub to Little Chook. It was a beautiful Easter, and you are a terrible, terrible goose. Yes. Ah, beautiful, beautiful. Oh, thank you all so much for the subs and the bits. I think that might put me... I think I'm one sub away from unlocking the next emote slot. Unless that thing resets to 25, unless I missed it. All right. When I first saw the kitchen, I go through, we're going to cook for us. But I'm like, no, I do not do cooking streams. No, no, no. My wife is the better cook anyway. All right. So now let's get this film started. So our first thing that we do is we use the first of 3 mandatory chemicals. The first is developer, which is a very clear, almost odorless liquid. And I am just about at 69 degrees here, which means I will adjust the developing time accordingly to about 13 minutes and 30 seconds. Hey, Vaughn! Welcome, welcome to the party! Set my timer here for 13 minutes and 30 seconds. And that is the end of the hype train. Thank you all so much, everyone. I don't need this dish soap to develop with, so that's just going to be where my timer is located. All right, so with this first step, let's get the running water going. I'll tell you what I do with that in a minute. Let's pop the lid. Now, this developing tank is... this is a light, tight container, so I can open this lid and be fine. All right, so let's do this. We've got 13 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock. Let's go. Once the developer is all in, we start the clock. Now we do this for like 30 seconds so that we cover the film in the developer. What did I shoot the medium film on? I shot it on a Pentax 645. I actually initially, my introduction to medium format film was on a Holga when I took the alternative process class in college. And holy crap, we did break the 25 sub mark, the 25 sub points. So yes, that means later today I'm going to get an email saying, hey, you've unlocked a third emote slot, so thank you all so much. Thank you all so much, guys. That's going to be emote slot number 3. What other alternative processes did I get to do? We did pinhole camera, we did cyanotype, we did Van Dyke photography, and we did Polaroid transfer. All right, bartender, what's our drink for the evening? Your drink for the evening is what I like to call the ID11 Blitz. It's a shot of ID11 Ilford developer with a spritz of stop bath with just the tiniest hint of rapid fixer to finish. So what I have to do now is get this running water temperature to 68 degrees. 68 degrees Fahrenheit, or for those of you, again, that do not use American freedom units, 20 degrees Celsius. I did Morden Cage for... Ooh! A hint of rum there, Dade. I prefer rum to vodka anyway. I have to do this for about 10 seconds at the start of every minute so that we recycle the developer. What's the kind of photography where you go into a red room and soak the photos in water? That is traditional photography. That's darkroom photography. If I had a darkroom, I would be taking the results of this and making prints out of it. That's too warm. We need to bring you down a bit. The idea here is to stay consistent temperature-wise. So if you start your developing at 68, 69 degrees, you want to make sure that all of your chemicals and your rinse water stays throughout. Otherwise, wild temperature variations will increase your film grain. It'll give you a grainier image, which you might want. But this is a very, very sort of slow... Darkroom photography seems less sciencey, more bath timey. Now that's too cold. So I'm going to have to play this game where I, like, nudge the faucet a micrometer to get it to that perfect 68. The technical term for the photographic process you're watching me do, which also translates to the darkroom, is called gelatin silver, and that is due to how the emulsion is applied to film and photo paper. So when the paper and the film is manufactured, gelatin is applied to the film, and in that gelatin contains, in solution, dissolved silver compounds, which are light sensitive, and it dries. And once it does that, it gets spooled up and sold in stores. Gelatin silver, Long John Silver's artistic cousin. What's my temperature? I am just about there, actually. Give that another minute. So the next chemical in the process, this yellow liquid, is the urine of somebody who is incredibly dehydrated. No, this is called stop bath, and it is it's exactly what it says on the tin. It stops the developing process dead in its tracks. Kinda does, nipple, yeah. And then the last of the mandatory chemicals is another clear one that smells like vinegar. This is Fixer. What the Fixer does is it removes all remaining undeveloped silver from the film, making the film safe to take out into a lit room. Because what the developer is doing right now is that it's reacting with all of the places that light struck the film when I shot it. So all the highlights you see on a black and white image, the highlights are where your silver gets bunched up, and your shadow detail is where you have less silver reactive. It's Easter themed. Your house smells like weird eggs. I mean, yesterday it smelled like pierogi because my wife was making some pierogies for Easter. I know a little bit about some of the chemicals used for developing film. During my time in tech school for being a vet technician, I learned about developing x-rays and the fun of taking radiographs. I mean, it's similar idea. We're still too warm. A little over 6 minutes left in this process, in step one, in the developing process. How's my Fixer chemical doing? Oh yeah, we're fine. Pierogi Stream fundraiser, go. So the images that I shot on this roll, provided they come out, they were shot in the basements of a nearby used bookstore. And hopefully they come out, because this used bookstore in Saratoga Springs, New York is absolutely wild. It just goes on forever. There's a place locally who does big tin types, and I can do that for the... Yeah. Like, part of me wishes that I knew how to do tintype and daguerreotype photography. The one small problem with that is that the developer is Mercury. And if you're a wee bit toxic. You need to have really, really good ventilation. Rinse water's just about there. Who doesn't want to be a Mad Hat? I know. Krisk! Welcome! Just follow in the footsteps of great artists before you go batshit banana cramps. We are developing film. We're currently in the first step of the developing process. We've got the developer going. Stop bath is next. In about 4 minutes from now. Oh. What's your favorite part of doing this? The end, actually. Because even though I've been doing film photography since high school, so almost 20 years, I love opening this at the end because part of me still feels like a 5-year-old on Christmas morning. Like, after you dump out that last chemical and get the film off the spool, it's sort of that anticipation. That's sort of like, you think of the music from Zelda when you're opening a chest. You know. What is your favorite alternative process or film process? Cyanotype. I love cyanotype photography. I mean, it also helps that my favorite color is blue, but you can get some amazing stuff done on cyanotype. For some reason, I thought all photo stuff had to be done in the dark. Wrong, sir. Film you can do in a lit room, provided you have a really Automod. You censored that. Thank you, Winged. Frickin' Automod saw the word dyke and got very afraid. Thank you, Winged. Something I wanted to do in college, but it was never taught, was platinum and or palladium printing, which are very similar. I watched your video about this topic. Yes. I have a YouTube channel where I post all of my streams. You can get to it by exclamation point YouTube. The link will pop up. I think the link might be in the down there as well. Also, if you enjoy and want to see more of my art, also the link is down there, or you can type in exclamation point art, and it will take you to my card page, which has my Instagram, my Vero. Vero is where I post a lot of my not safe for work stuff, as well as Patreon, because I do a lot of studio photography as well, a lot of nude work and cosplay stuff as well. Thank you for the follow, Nipple, and Cold Ham. Welcome. All right, we're about to hit 0 on the timer here, so now I gotta pay attention. So once this thing hits 0, I'm going to dump this out, and I'm going to pour the stop bath in. Because right now, even the residual developer on here is still developing the film. So this is going to stop it dead in its tracks. And this takes, 30 seconds or between 30 seconds and a minute. Fabu, welcome and thanks for the follow. It did reach 68 in freedom units, Estrella. Yes, it did. So right now we've got the stop bath in, and right now what it's doing is stopping the developer. What edits do you do to get photos from concerts to turn out really good? Well, I don't typically shoot at concerts because I'm typically there to enjoy the concerts and not take pictures of it. But if you wanted to shoot images at a concert, you would use like 800, 1600 or 3200 speed film or ISO on your digital camera. because those are meant for low light and action. All right, so next step here, we're going to dump out the stop bath. And the last of the mandatory chemicals is the fixer, which is at temperature. And this is going to go in for 4 minutes. It cleans up the bodies after the murder spree. So what the fixer does, again, if you missed the explanation earlier, is that the fixer is going to now remove all remaining undeveloped silver still left on the film and make it safe for me to take out in this fully lit room. Malice heard the call of murder spree and has hopped in. Welcome, Malice! Malice has been summoned by murder. And the way we do that, the way we swirl the fixer around is the same as the developer, once every minute for about 10 seconds. Something my photography teachers and professors would always say, constant agitation. And I always just thought, well, what if Mad-Eye Moody was ever a professor of photography at Hogwarts? I could just imagine him screaming, constant agitation! If our rinse water is exactly at 68 Fahrenheit, 20 Celsius. It's probably how his eyes suck it. Some photo instructors be that way. So on Wednesday evening, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, I will be doing an art stream, and if you guys are on at that time, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, I will be editing in Photoshop the images from this roll of film. So between later today and Wednesday, I'll be scanning this into my using my film scanner. But yes, so I mean, right now with COVID going on, I have not done a studio shoot in a year, and I do a lot of studio photography, a lot of nude photography, cosplay photography, and cemeteries. I shoot a lot of old cemeteries, like old Puritan New England, late 17th century, early 18th century stuff. So I've been shooting a lot of film. Yes, Tiny Dragon. Once we're done here, I will bring the party to you. Yes, New England is just full of old death. And one of the things I love most about New England cemeteries is that they build around the death. The first time I went to Portsmouth, New Hampshire, I laughed hysterically when I saw that there was a Dunkin' Donuts and they had situated the parking lot around this small old plot. And there was one by a Starbucks as well. It was just Because they care about their history in New England. Unlike New York, where they just bulldoze everything. All right. So the fixer is now done. Now, normally, if I had a darkroom, I would dump this out into a jug of fixer, which could then be reused for prints. Don't have a darkroom. I rent an apartment. The landlord would probably get pissed if I just started rearranging the plumbing. But fixer is the only one of these chemicals that can be reused. Everything else gets dumped. So, next step in this process. Now, at this point, I could be done. All I would do at this point is I just let the water just run in here and rinse for about 20 minutes. I don't have time, so there's going to be a couple of other chemicals I use to speed up this rinse process. So this first rinse takes 1 minute. Hi, Zesty. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. But yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. So all you need, the mandatory chemicals are developer, stop bath, and fixer. At this point, you could be done. You just have to let this rinse then for about 20 minutes to get the fixer off. I don't have that kind of time. Thank you for stopping by, Schlifty. I'll see you soon. Time is relative, yes. All right, that's the end of the first rinse. So the next thing I am going to do is go off camera to grab the remaining 2 chemicals. Yes, I can't wait, Lena. All right, so the next chemical I use is something called Wash Aid. And what this does is that it takes that 20-minute rinse that would normally happen and will reduce it greatly. 3 minutes with this stuff, and it reduces my final rinse down from 20 minutes to 5. This is called Wash Aid, and what this does is it gets the remaining fixer off of here quicker. That's all it does. Because if you leave fixer on, it will eventually start to yellow and decay your film. All right, 3 minutes. And we constantly agitate this for 3 minutes. Yeah, like it didn't feel like I had enough in there. Well, let's just fix that. You do this long enough, and you start figuring out how things weigh and whatnot. So, there we are. Constant agitation, yes, indeedy. This is where you get your arm workout. Especially on a day if I'm developing, like, multiple roles. I mean, you guys are watching me develop one role, but sometimes if I go on vacation and I shoot, 5, 6, 10 rolls, this winds up being a freaking workout. Like, I think the last time I went on vacation was in October. Yeah, the last time I went on vacation was in October to Lena the Oddity's neck of the woods. And I shot something like 8 rolls of film because there's so much old death in New Hampshire. And, yeah. New Hampshire is such a great, great place. Now, I prefer to develop one roll of film at a time. These tanks do come in much taller sizes where you can develop, 2, 4, 6 rolls all at once. But I'm not made of money. I don't usually have enough chemical prepared to do all that film at once. Also, even though I've been doing this for a long time, there is still a possibility that I may ruin this film. Something may have gone wrong in here. And I'd rather lose 1 roll of film than 6. How much does what specifically usually go for, Estrella? Well, I know that just this container was about $35. And it comes with all of the parts, the spool and all of that. So, if this is $35 by itself, obviously it goes up from there. Hello, lovely. Oh, God, no. Oh, God, not $1,000. Hell no. No, no, no. Like, the entire outlay, like, to get all of the things you need, like, the measuring cups, the containers, all the chemicals, and the developing tank, will run you about $150 altogether just to set up. Hello, off-screen wife. All right, so we've done the wash aid, and now we do the final rinse, which is 5 minutes. We're getting a lot of hello, Mrs. E. Royvis, and hello, off-screen wife.
There I am.
There you are. That's her in the upper right there.
Oh no, they can just assume I'm wearing the hat.
Your alter ego in the hat. All right. Now we do this for 5 minutes. Actually, at this point, I can open the tank. Because it is now safe. Pierogi master. She'll be making some more after I'm done here because I've got all my photo stuff out here, and you really don't want to mix up, developer with the dough and the filling. That's just no. know it tastes really weird. Now, don't mix them, yes. Do not mix them. I mean, none of the chemicals are toxic. None of the chemicals for black and white developing are toxic. But you really don't want to consume them because you might have a bit of a bad time. We're moving right along time-wise pretty good here. I hope you guys are enjoying this glimpse into what I do. This is a lot of fun. I love doing this stuff. I suck with drawing. Like, that was my weakest. When I got my fine arts degree in college, drawing was my weakest. But I still love the tactile element of doing this. And then Wednesday night you'll get to see what came out. You are very, very welcome. It's on my my cart page. One of the links on that page is to my Picarto account. That is where I will stream some of my not safe for work stuff. Because I did say that I do a lot of NSFW stuff as well. And I typically go on Picarto about once a month to work on some of the nude stuff. Wednesday evenings are typically when I do art streams anyway. Otherwise, I stream video games as well, Monday and Friday nights. I think one of the things that I look for when my wife and I eventually can afford a house, it must have something I can turn into a darkroom, like a proper photographic printmaking darkroom. All right, just over a minute to go. All right, fine, Streamlabs. You're gonna make me drink water? Sure. The film is super hydrated. Yeah, it is. Once more for good luck. Cheers, ABA. Thank you so much for putting on another raid, another wonderful raid event. Little Chook, Daisy, all you at ABA, thank you once so much. It's a lot of fun, and I love seeing all of the wonderful, wonderful stuff that you guys do. All right, we've hit the 5 minutes. I think it was, I forget on which stream it was, but I think it was Sean that, Sean Machoff, said that ABA was the most supportive cult he's ever been a part of. And that is incredibly true. I laugh, but that is such a true statement. All right, so now we've dumped the water out. Now we have our final chemical. This is called Ilfotol, and what it basically does is it's kind of like jet dry but for film. So you know how if you use a dishwasher, you use jet dry, it sort of prevents water spots from forming on your dishes? Same idea, but for film. Because depending on where you live, your water, you might have hard water, you might have, other dissolved elements, things that will leave water spots, and this chemical prevents that. And I do not do anything here. I'll just let that fill up just enough so that it covers the film. That stays in there for a minute. I'm not developing any more film, so I can kill that.
That was awesome!
And while that is going on, I have in my bathroom, I have a shower rod going across and a hanger in which I'm going to be hanging this film, so you will not be seeing that. But that is where the film is going to go dry. We'll take a good chunk of the day. What was I saying about proctology earlier? Cult of artists is the best kind of cult. Yes, indeed. It's a good life motto. Make more art, be more kind. Thank you, Lena. All right. Now is the moment of truth. Now it is Christmas morning. Spirits above me, give me a sign. Shall I be joyous, or shall I be damned? What have we here? There we are. Oh. Oh ho. Well, that's looking pleasant. There we are. I am very curious as to how... So there we are. I am excited. I'll be right back. I'm going to hang this up to dry. And with 9 minutes to spare. Very nice. Very nice. And welcome in, AC Lightow? I'm gonna butcher that. I'm apologizing. You're gonna develop my film? Yes. Alex, just Alex. All right. But yes, that is what I do. I'm a professional photographer, Alex, and I also shoot a lot of black and white film. And I develop all of my black and white film by hand because the closest... Part of it is because I love doing it, and also part of it is because the nearest black and white... The nearest lab that can develop that for me is like 35 minutes away, and they charge an arm and a leg. So I'm like, I'll do it myself. So that, ladies and jelly spoons, is how I develop black and white film. something I want to learn how to do, and they took this class away shortly after I started college there, is color photography, like color film photography. Like, there used to be a class in college in which you learned how to develop color film, which is a lot more involved, a lot less forgiving, and it can still be done. I can still get the film and chemicals to it. It's something I want to learn how to do, but probably not in this apartment, because to develop color film, the fixer solution is bleach. It is largely bleach, and you want to be in a very well-ventilated area if you're going to be playing with bleach. Clorox! That's the last thing I need, is to just, There are some people who use different pigments on black and white. Yes! Back to the container topic. So, you mean this? What would destroy the film in here? Well, you can ruin the film by well, if you don't agitate it regularly. What happens is the developer just sits, and it just sits, and you're not moving it around and having it constantly react with the silver on the film. It's just, you wind up with uneven developing if you don't regularly agitate it. The larger ones, okay, the larger containers, you don't invert it up and down the way I did with the smaller tank. Those taller ones come with a rod that you stick in the funnel. Like this one has something like that. So I'm gonna zoom in. You see those two little black sort of spokes in the center there? When this is attached to the container, you can put a rod in the center and spin the rod kind of like a butter churn. Think of like an old style butter churn, in which you can move the film around and agitate the film and the chemicals in those larger tanks. So let me show you what this actually looks like now that it's all out of the tank. So churn that. Thank you, Lena. So this spool is expandable. This can develop 35 millimeter film or the medium format that I just did. So right now it's set for 35 millimeter. Let me get this onto... This is why I did all this prep before the stream started. There we are. Okay, so right now it's set for medium format. So it sits in the tank like this. And it all fits in there. That's what it looks like. And so every time I agitate this, it moves the film, it moves the chemicals around. But in a taller one, there would be a much taller rod. There'd be a bunch of funnels stacked underneath this, and you'd have the rod on top to move it about. So that's how that works with the taller containers. How do you go from this to a print in your case? Unfortunately, I do not have a traditional dark room in my apartment, so what I will do once the film dries is I will scan it. I've got a flatbed scanner, and I scan it at very high resolution, like between 2400 and 3200 DPI or PPI, and edit and scan those images, edit them in Photoshop, adjust for brightness, contrast, dust, scratches, things like that. And if I want to make prints of them, I will send them out to a print lab. But normally, Normally, I don't make prints unless I am making them for my patrons. Which, again, my Patreon, if you subscribe to my Patreon at $5 or higher, you get a 4x6, at minimum, a 4x6 print from me every 2 months. Not always photography on this stream, Alex. I do a lot of video games as well. Gaming on Mondays and Fridays, photography on Wednesdays if I've got stuff to work on. So that's gonna put us right just about the end, and Tiny Dragon is next on our raid train. So once again, thank you all so much for stopping by, for the bits, for the subs. Thanks to the gift subs, we're going to I'm going to be getting a third emote slot for my subscribers. So thank you so much. We're going to move on to Tiny Dragon. Thank you again, ABA, Little Chook, Daisy. You guys are awesome. So once again, I am Eroivis, aka Brian J. French. Thank you so much. I will join you along for most of the rest of the day on the train as we hit up the remaining artists. So I will punch up Tiny Dragon, get her in on this wonderful, wonderful fun. Whoops. Making sure I spelled that right. Tiny Dragon on fire. All right, here we go. Hey! No. No. There we go. Yeah, I hit the wrong key. There we go. Typically, I don't operate my PC from my kitchen. Oh, thank you for spending your time with me, watching me develop film. Let's go see Tiny Dragon.
Shiva, break it down.
Welcome and thank you, my friends, for the hosts. Little Truth, Esrella, Fancy, Eurivis. All you wonderful humans, thank you so much. I'm so glad you're